Welcome back, everyone, to Health Simplified. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into olive oil.
Ooh, olive oil.
Yeah, it is a good fat,
Right.
right? But today, we're going to be going way beyond that. We're really trying to figure out, is it a superfood?
Yeah.
Especially in cultures where they've been using it for centuries, like the Mediterranean.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how it's gone from, just a simple cooking ingredient to like this almost magical health food.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is that a lot of the hype is actually backed by science.
Okay, well, let's unpack that a little bit.
Okay.
What is it about olive oil that actually makes it so special?
So it's not just the oil itself, it's the unique blend of compounds within it,
Okay.
especially in extra virgin olive oil, or EVOO.
EVOO.
It's kind of like a multivitamin
Okay.
packed with potent antioxidants, healthy fats,
Oh, wow.
and other bioactive components that all kind of work together to benefit our bodies.
So it's not just one magic ingredient.
No,
It's like a whole team
it's a whole team working together.
of good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and one of the key players on this team is this group of compounds called polyphenols.
Polyphenols.
Yeah, and these are powerful antioxidants that fight cell damage and inflammation.
Oh, we hear a lot about inflammation these days.
Right, exactly. And as you know, inflammation is at the root of so many chronic diseases.
So by tackling the inflammation, the olive oil is working as like a preventative measure almost.
Exactly like building a fortress around your cells,
Wow.
protecting them from damage and keeping them functioning optimally.
I like that.
And that's not all. Olive oil also contains other beneficial compounds like phospholipids and glycolipids.
Okay, those sound a little intimidating.
They do, but just imagine them as specialized building blocks for our cells,
Okay.
each with a specific job.
Okay.
Some of these lipids have been shown to have antithrombotic and anti-atherosclerotic properties.
So they're good for the blood?
Yeah, meaning they help prevent blood clots and hardening of arteries.
So it's not just heart health in like a general sense.
Uh-uh.
It's really going in there and doing specific jobs.
Exactly. It's working on a very specific level to keep those blood vessels healthy.
Wow.
And the research gets even more fascinating when you look at the different types of polyphenols in EVO.
Okay.
For instance, there are sequoidoids, lignans, and flavonoids, each with their own unique benefits.
It's like a buffet of benefits.
It is. You know how some people love that bitter taste of olive oil?
Yeah, I do. I like that bitter taste.
Well, that bitterness is mainly due to those sequoidoids,
Okay.
which are some of the most potent antioxidants in olive oil.
Oh, so that bitter taste is actually a good sign.
It is. It's a sign of those powerful compounds at work.
So more bitter, more better.
Well, not necessarily. It's about finding a balance.
Okay.
A good quality EVOO will have a harmonious blend of bitterness, fruitiness, and pungency.
I like wine.
Yes, exactly.
Like a good complex wine.
Right, all contributing to its unique flavor profile.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the impact of olive oil on our gut. I've heard that it can influence our gut microbiota, that community of trillions of bacteria that live in our intestines.
Right.
Is there any truth to that?
I mean, it seems like everything influences the gut these days.
Well, there's growing evidence that olive oil, particularly those phenolic compounds we talked about,
Okay.
can modulate the gut microbiota, promoting the growth of beneficial bacteria and inhibiting the growth of harmful ones.
So it's like tending a garden.
I love that analogy.
But it's inside.
It really captures the essence of how dietary choices can shape the very environment within our bodies.
Wow.
And a healthy gut microbiota is essential for everything from digestion and nutrient absorption to immunity and even mental health.
So we're not just working on our hearts and blood vessels.
No,
We're getting in there to the gut,
we're going deep.
which affects everything else.
It's like a domino effect, with olive oil triggering a cascade of positive changes throughout the body.
Wow, this is making me rethink how I use olive oil.
Yeah.
I used to just use it for cooking,
Yeah.
but now I'm seeing it as a key player in like my health strategy.
And that's the beauty of it. Olive oil is not just a medicine you take.
Right.
It's a delicious and versatile food that you can enjoy as part of a healthy lifestyle.
Now, one thing that I've always been curious about is how the production process affects the quality of olive oil.
Okay.
Does it really matter how the oil is extracted?
Absolutely. Remember how we talked about extra virgin olive oil being the most beneficial?
Yeah, EVOO.
Well, that's because it's produced using a very specific method that preserves the oil's natural goodness.
Okay, so tell me about that process.
Extra virgin olive oil is made solely through mechanical means
Okay.
without any heat or chemicals.
So it's really just squeezing it out?
It's like squeezing the oil out of the olives using a gentle press.
Interesting.
This preserves those delicate flavors, aromas, and most importantly, the nutritional content.
So it's all about keeping it natural,
Exactly.
avoiding those harsh processing methods.
And that's why extra virgin olive oil has those strict standards we mentioned earlier, like the acidity level and sensory qualities. They're using those standards to ensure that you're getting a truly high-quality product.
Now, I remember you mentioning something about spectrophotometric values
Yes.
earlier.
Spectrophotometric values, that's a mouthful.
What was that all about?
Basically, it's a fancy way of saying they use light to analyze the oil's purity. It's a way to measure the concentration of specific compounds and ensure that the oil hasn't been adulterated or mixed with other oils.
Wait, so you're saying they can tell if the oil's been messed with just by shining a light on it?
Well, it's a bit more complicated than that.
Okay.
But essentially, yes. They're
Wow.
looking for specific light absorption patterns that indicate the oil's authenticity and quality.
That's incredible.
It's a high-tech way of ensuring that we're getting the real deal.
So not all olive oils are created equal.
Absolutely not.
There's a lot more to it than I initially thought.
And the more you understand about the production process and the different grades of olive oil,
Yeah.
the better choices you can make.
Now, speaking of choices, one thing that I find confusing is how the olive variety and growing conditions affect the final product.
Okay.
Can you shed some light on that?
Of course, think of it like this olive oil is like wine.
Okay.
Different grape varieties grown in different regions produce wines with distinct characteristics, right?
Right. A Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley is going to taste different from a Pinot Noir from Burgundy.
Exactly. And it's the same with olive oil.
Okay.
The olive variety and the growing conditions like climate, soil type, and altitude
Wow.
all contribute to the oil's unique flavor profile, aroma, and even its nutritional content.
So choosing an olive oil
Yes.
isn't just grabbing any bottle off the shelf.
It's not.
It's about considering these things.
Precisely. Some olive varieties are known for their delicate, fruity flavors,
Okay.
while others are more robust and peppery, and the growing region can also play a significant role.
Okay.
For example, olive oil from a coastal region might have a slightly salty note,
Interesting.
while oil from a mountainous area might have a more herbaceous aroma.
This is fascinating. It's like a whole new world is opening up to me.
It is. There's so much to discover about this incredible food.
You mentioned that the harvesting time also plays a role in the olive oil quality.
It does.
How does that work?
Well, just like with any fruit, olives go through different stages of ripening,
Okay.
and the optimal time to harvest them for oil production depends on the desired flavor profile.
So just like there's a perfect time to pick a peach
Exactly.
or a tomato, there's a perfect time to pick an olive.
Yes. Green olives, which are harvested earlier, tend to produce a more bitter, peppery oil,
Okay.
while ripe olives harvested later yield a milder, fruitier oil.
So the harvesting time really does impact the final product.
Absolutely. And some producers even blend oils from olives harvested at different stages of ripeness
Oh, wow.
to create unique flavor profiles.
That's really cool.
It's amazing how much thought and care goes into producing a bottle of high-quality olive oil.
It really is. It's a testament to the people who make it.
It is to their dedication and expertise.
Now, speaking of doing this for a long time, you mentioned that olive oil has been revered for centuries,
Yes.
especially in Mediterranean cultures. Can you tell me more about that?
In many Mediterranean cultures, olive oil is more than just a food.
Okay.
It's a symbol of health, prosperity, and a way of life.
Wow.
It's been woven into their history, traditions, and cuisine for millennia.
So it's almost like a cultural icon?
Exactly. In ancient Greece, for example, olive oil was considered sacred
Wow.
and was used in religious ceremonies, athletic competitions, and even as a form of currency.
That's wild.
It was believed to have healing properties and was used to anoint the sick and injured.
It's incredible how something as simple as olive oil can hold such deep cultural significance.
I know. And that reverence for olive oil continues today.
Okay.
In many Mediterranean countries, it's still a staple food,
Yeah.
used daily in cooking and even as a condiment.
I've always been fascinated by the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah.
With its emphasis on olive oil, is there a connection between olive oil consumption and the health benefits associated with this diet?
Absolutely. The Mediterranean diet, which is characterized by its abundance of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes.
Okay.
And of course, olive oil
Right.
has been consistently linked to a lower risk of chronic diseases,
Okay.
including heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancer.
So olive oil is like a key player in all of that.
It's a major contributor, no
Yeah.
doubt. It's not only a source of healthy fats and antioxidants,
Okay.
but also enhances the flavor of the other foods in the diet, making it more enjoyable and sustainable.
It's interesting how something so simple can have such a profound impact on our health.
It is, and that's the beauty of it. Olive oil is a natural whole food that fits seamlessly into a healthy lifestyle.
Now, before we move on to the specific health benefits of olive oil,
Okay.
I have one more question about the production process.
Sure.
You mentioned earlier that even the storage conditions after production can affect olive oil quality. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. Remember how we talked about light, heat, and oxygen being the enemies of olive oil?
Right, they can make it go bad.
Exactly. They can degrade the oil and make it go rancid.
Rancid.
And those factors can come into play even after the oil has been bottled.
Oh, really?
That's why it's so important to store olive oil properly.
Okay.
Always keep it in a dark, cool place, away from direct sunlight and heat sources.
So storing it in a clear glass bottle on the countertop next to the stove is a no-no.
Definitely not. It's best to store olive oil in a dark, opaque container to protect it from light damage.
Okay.
And keep it in a cool pantry or cupboard away from any heat sources like the stove or oven.
Okay, makes sense. What about the temperature? Does it need to be refrigerated?
It's not necessary to refrigerate olive oil unless you live in a very hot climate.
Okay.
In fact, refrigerating olive oil can cause it to solidify, which can affect its texture and make it cloudy.
Oh.
So room temperature is ideal, but again, keep it away from heat sources and direct sunlight. And make sure the bottle is tightly sealed to prevent oxygen exposure, which can also lead to oxidation and rancidity.
Okay, I'll be much more mindful of how I store my olive oil from now on.
Good.
Now let's delve into those health benefits. We kind of touched on heart health earlier.
Yeah, let's start with what we know about olive oil and heart health.
I mean, this is where olive oil really shines.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
it's almost synonymous with heart health, and that science backs it up.
So tell me about that.
The research is quite compelling. Olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fatty acids,
Okay.
especially oleic acid. This type of fat has been shown to lower LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol that can contribute to plaque buildup in arteries.
So it's helping clear those arteries,
Exactly.
improve blood flow.
But it's not just about lowering the bad stuff.
Okay.
Olive oil can also raise HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol,
Oh,
that helps remove LDL cholesterol from the bloodstream.
so it's a two-pronged attack.
Precisely, and the benefits go beyond cholesterol levels. Olive oil's polyphenols have been shown to improve endothelial function.
Endothelial function.
Yes, the endothelium is the lining of our blood vessels, and its health is crucial for maintaining healthy blood pressure and preventing blood clots.
So these polyphenols are just working at a very fundamental level.
Yes, they're like tiny superheroes fighting off damage and keeping our blood vessels healthy.
I love that.
And speaking of blood pressure, studies have shown that regular consumption of olive oil can contribute to lowering blood pressure levels, which is a major risk factor for heart disease and stroke.
So olive oil is tackling all of these different aspects of heart health.
It's truly a multifaceted approach to cardiovascular well-being, and it's not just about prevention.
Okay.
Studies have also shown that olive oil can improve heart health in people who already have cardiovascular disease.
So that's really good news.
It means that olive oil can be a valuable tool for both prevention and management of heart disease.
That's encouraging.
Absolutely. And the research continues to uncover new ways in which olive oil benefits our hearts.
It's fascinating how this ancient food is continually revealing its modern-day relevance
It is.
in the fight against chronic diseases.
It is truly amazing. Yeah, it really is incredible how this one little thing can do so much.
It's amazing. Now, let's move on to another area where olive oil, I feel like, is really getting a lot of attention,
Okay.
and that's inflammation.
Ah, yes. Inflammation. It's a hot topic in health research these days, you know?
It really is.
Chronic inflammation is implicated in a wide range of diseases, from heart disease and cancer to arthritis and Alzheimer's disease.
Right, and we kind of touched on that earlier a little bit.
We did.
So it seems like anything that can fight inflammation
Yeah.
is like a big plus.
It's a major win for our health.
So what does the research say about olive oil in this area?
Well, olive oil packs some serious anti-inflammatory power.
Okay.
It's not just a gentle nudge. Studies have shown that regular consumption of olive oil can actually reduce levels of inflammatory markers in the body.
So there's actual evidence to support this.
Absolutely. For instance, one study found that people who consumed extra virgin olive oil daily for just 3 weeks
Yeah.
experienced a significant reduction in C-reactive protein, or CRP, which is a key marker of inflammation.
So it's really calming things down.
Oh, it's like olive oil is calming down the body's inflammatory response,
Right.
helping to put out those little fires that contribute to chronic disease.
And this has implications for specific conditions.
It does. For example, studies have explored olive oil's role in reducing inflammation in inflammatory bowel diseases like ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease.
So it's not just working on the outside, it's going deep inside.
It's going deep inside our bodies to fight inflammation at its source.
And what about other areas?
Well, it's not just limited to. The gut research has also explored olive oil's potential benefits for other autoimmune and chronic inflammatory diseases,
Okay.
like rheumatoid arthritis and multiple sclerosis.
A lot of different things.
There's a lot of excitement around olive oil's potential in these areas, though more research is definitely needed.
It's amazing how this one food can impact so many different aspects of our health.
It really is.
Now, let's talk about another big one, and that's cancer. Does olive oil have any role to play in cancer prevention?
That's a great question, and the research is very promising in this area.
Okay, tell me more.
Olive oil's polyphenols, particularly those potent antioxidants, have been studied for their anti-tumor properties.
Okay, so those polyphenols are fighting cancer cells as well.
It seems so. Studies have shown that olive oil's polyphenols can inhibit the growth of cancer cells and even induce apoptosis,
Apoptosis.
which is essentially programmed cell death of those harmful cells. It's like olive oil is helping the body identify and eliminate those work cells before they can cause too much trouble.
And has this been studied with specific types of cancer?
It has, for example, research on breast cancer cell lines has shown that olive oil's phenolic fraction,
Okay.
along with specific compounds like hydroxytyrosol caffeic acid and p-coumaric acid, exhibited anti-tumoral activity.
Wow, so olive oil is showing promise in the fight against breast cancer.
It is, and research is ongoing to explore its potential in other types of cancer as well.
Okay.
There's a lot of interest in how olive oil might help prevent or manage cancers of the digestive system, like colon cancer, but it's still early days. It's important to remember that we can't make definitive statements about olive oil curing cancer.
Right.
But the evidence is encouraging,
Right. It's pointing in a positive direction.
suggesting a potential role in prevention and possibly even slowing the progression of certain cancers.
That's really interesting. Now, let's talk about cognitive function. Is there any truth to the claims that olive oil can boost brain health?
There's definitely some truth to those claims.
Okay.
Olive oil has been studied for its potential neuroprotective effects, particularly in the context of aging and age-related cognitive decline.
So it could help as we get older.
That's what the research suggests. Both in vitro and in vivo studies have indicated that olive oil's anti-inflammatory activity, along with its antioxidant properties,
Okay.
could protect brain cells and potentially delay the onset of neurodegenerative diseases.
Like Alzheimer's disease and dementia.
Wow. So it's not just about preventing heart disease and cancer.
Right.
It could be a key player in maintaining brain health as we age.
That's what's exciting about this research. A recent study caught my eye. It
Oh,
looked at the effects of a Mediterranean diet supplemented with extra virgin olive oil on cognitive function in older adults.
okay.
The results were fascinating. The group that consumed the olive oil-enriched diet showed significant improvements in memory attention and overall cognitive performance compared to the control group.
So incorporating olive oil into our diet
Right.
could be a way to keep our brains sharp.
Exactly. And this is an area of active research, so we can expect to learn even more about olive oil's brain-boosting potential in the coming years.
This is incredible. It seems like it does everything.
It does seem that way.
Now let's get practical. We know that olive oil is great for us,
Okay.
but what about storage? How do we make sure that we're preserving its quality and those precious nutrients? That's a crucial point. Olive oil, like any natural product, is susceptible to degradation over time,
Right.
especially when exposed to certain environmental factors. So proper storage is key.
What are some of the things that can make it go bad?
There are three main culprits: light temperature and oxygen exposure.
Okay.
Let's start with light. Exposure to light, especially sunlight, can be particularly damaging to olive oil.
Okay.
It can cause the breakdown of those beneficial compounds,
Including, I would imagine, like the color.
including those vibrant pigments that give olive oil its color.
So keeping it in a clear glass bottle on the countertop is probably not the best.
Not ideal, no. The best way to protect olive oil from light is to store it in a dark, cool place.
Okay.
Opaque containers are ideal as they block out light completely.
Makes sense. What about temperature?
Olive oil is best stored at cool temperatures,
Okay.
ideally between 57 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
So room temperature.
Generally, yes, but again, keep it away from heat sources and direct sunlight and make sure the bottle is tightly sealed to prevent oxygen exposure.
Right. To keep it from going rancid.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got light, we've got temperature, we've got oxygen.
Yes.
What about the different types of olive oil? There's so many labels, from extra virgin to refined to light.
Right.
What do they all mean, and how do we know which one to choose?
That's a common question.
Yeah.
The different types of olive oil are primarily based on how they are processed, which affects their flavor, aroma, and nutritional value. Let's break it down, starting with extra virgin olive oil, or EVOO.
That's the one we've been talking about mostly, right?
Yes. Extra virgin olive oil is considered the highest quality olive oil.
So the gold standard.
It's extracted using only mechanical methods, meaning no heat or chemicals are involved.
Okay.
This preserves the natural flavors, aromas, and nutrients of the olives.
No shortcuts.
Exactly. To be labeled as extra virgin olive oil must meet specific standards set by the International Olive Council.
Oh, wow.
These standards include factors like acidity level, which must be below 0.8%, and sensory qualities, meaning it must have a distinct fruity aroma and flavor and be free from defects like rancidity or mustiness.
So there's a lot that goes into being extra virgin.
There is. What about virgin olive oil?
Virgin olive oil, how is that different?
Virgin olive oil is also extracted using only mechanical methods,
Okay.
but it has a slightly higher acidity level between 0.8% and 2%.
Okay.
It may have some slight flavor defects, which is why it's not considered as high quality as extra virgin olive oil.
So extra virgin is the top tier.
It is, and then we have refined olive oil.
Refined olive oil, what's happening there?
Refined olive oil is made from olive oil that has some defects, like high acidity or off flavors.
Okay.
It undergoes a refining process that removes these defects, but it also removes some of the natural flavors and aromas and nutrients.
So it's kind of like a cleaned up version.
That's a good way to put it. It has a more neutral flavor and a higher smoke point,
Okay.
making it suitable for certain cooking methods like frying. However, it doesn't have the same robust flavor or nutritional value as extra virgin olive oil.
What about light or pure olive oil?
Those terms can be a bit misleading.
I always get those confused.
Light olive oil doesn't necessarily mean it has fewer calories or fat. It usually refers to its milder flavor. Pure olive oil is typically a blend of refined olive oil and a small amount of virgin or extra virgin olive oil
Okay.
to add some flavor.
So if I want the most benefit, I should go for the extra virgin.
When it comes to reaping those amazing health benefits we've been talking about, extra virgin is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's the most delicious and nutritious option.
Well, this has cleared up a lot of my confusion about olive oil. Now I know what to look for at the store.
Ooh, glad.
So we've covered a lot of ground, from olive oil's health benefits and storage tips
We have.
to the different types of olive oil and its cultural significance. What else can you tell us about this liquid gold?
Well, one thing that's fascinating is how olive oil's quality is influenced by a whole range of factors.
Okay.
From the olive variety and growing conditions to the harvesting time and even the storage conditions after production.
So it's a product of where it comes from and how it's treated.
It truly is a product of its environment and the care that goes into every step.
Let's break that down a little bit.
Okay, let's start with the olive variety.
Okay.
There are hundreds of different olive varieties grown worldwide, and each one has its own unique flavor profile, aroma, and even oil yield.
Wow. So the type of olive used can really impact the final product.
Absolutely. Some popular olive varieties include Arbequina kalamata and Picul, just to name a few.
Okay.
Arbequina olives, for instance, tend to produce a milder buttery oil,
Interesting.
while Picul olives yield a more robust peppery oil.
So it's like choosing different grapes for wine.
Exactly. Each variety brings its own characteristics to the table, and just like terroir in winemaking, the growing conditions also play a crucial role in olive oil quality.
Tell me more.
Factors like climate, soil type, altitude, and sunlight exposure can all influence the flavor and aroma of the olives.
It's like it absorbs the place where it's grown.
Absolutely, and the harvesting time is another crucial factor.
Yeah.
Olives go through different stages of ripening, and the optimal time to harvest them for oil production depends on the desired flavor profile.
So there's right time to pick the olives.
That's right. Green olives, which are harvested earlier, tend to produce a more bitter, peppery oil,
Okay.
while ripe olives harvested later yield a milder, fruitier oil.
And then, of course, there's the extraction process.
Yes. The method used to extract the oil can also affect its quality cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, which is extracted at low temperatures without the use of heat or chemicals, is considered the highest quality.
So keeping it natural all the way through.
Precisely. And even after the oil is bottled, proper storage is crucial for maintaining its quality. As we discussed earlier, light, heat, and oxygen exposure can all degrade the oil over time.
So many things to consider.
It's amazing how much care and attention to detail goes into producing a bottle of high-quality olive oil.
It really is an art and a science.
It truly is, and that passion is reflected in the final product. When you taste a truly exceptional olive oil, you can sense the dedication and expertise that went into creating it.
Okay, so now that we know all this, how much should we be consuming?
That's a great question. The amount of olive oil you should consume daily depends on several factors,
Okay.
including your overall dietary needs, health goals, and activity level. But a general guideline is to aim for about 2 tablespoons per day.
2 tablespoons a day.
You can easily incorporate that amount into your diet by drizzling it over salads, vegetable soups, or even using it as a dip for bread.
What are some other creative ways to use olive oil?
Oh, the possibilities are endless. You can use it to make homemade salad dressings, marinades, or even pesto. You can add it to smoothies for a boost of healthy fats and flavor. You can even use it to saute vegetables or cook fish. And don't forget about finishing oils. A drizzle of high-quality olive oil can elevate the flavor of almost any dish.
So we've talked about the different types of olive oil
We have.
and how to store it. What about when we're at the store? What should we be looking for?
Always opt for extra virgin olive oil.
Okay.
As it's the highest quality and most nutritious option, look for olive oils that are cold-pressed and packaged in dark opaque containers to protect them from light damage.
Okay.
And pay attention to the harvest date, as olive oil is best consumed within 2 years of harvest.
Great tips.
I hope you find some good ones.
I will. This has been so informative.
It's been my pleasure.
Olive oil is truly amazing.
It's a gift from nature, a culinary treasure, and a true testament to the interconnectedness of food, health, and well-being. Embrace its versatility and enjoy all it has to offer.
Well, this has definitely been a deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much about olive oil.
I'm glad.
Now let's wrap up with some key takeaways.
Yeah, okay.
What are the most important things for our listeners to remember?
First and foremost, olive oil, especially extra virgin olive oil, is a nutritional powerhouse, packed with beneficial compounds that can improve heart health, reduce inflammation, protect against cancer, and even boost brain function. It's not just a cooking oil, it's a functional food that can have a real impact on your well-being.
And second, proper storage is crucial for preserving those nutrients.
That's right. Keep it in a dark, cool place, tightly sealed in its container, and try to use it up within a couple of years of its harvest date.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Right. Experiment with different olive oil varieties to find those that best suit your taste preferences.
Yeah.
There's a whole world of flavors to explore, from delicate and buttery to robust and peppery. Don't be afraid to get adventurous.
And finally, incorporate olive oil into your diet. Daily aim for about 2 tablespoons per day.
You got it.
Drizzling it over salads, vegetables, soups, or using it as a healthy cooking oil. Remember, it's not just about the quantity, but the quality of the olive oil you choose.
Olive oil is a gift from nature, a culinary treasure, and a true testament to the interconnectedness of food, health, and well-being. Embrace its versatility and enjoy all it has to offer.
Wonderful. And with that, we conclude our deep dive into the world of olive oil.
It's been a pleasure. I hope you've learned something new and are inspired to embrace the power of olive oil in your own life.
I know I have. Remember, olive oil is more than just a cooking ingredient. It's a symbol of health, longevity, and a connection to the land. So go ahead and drizzle, savor, and enjoy all that olive oil has to offer.
Thank you for taking the time out to listen to our deep dive. Until next time, stay healthy and stay informed.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It really is, and it all starts with those olives.
It does.
And all this great stuff we're talking about.
Right.
What happens when those olives are picked?
Yeah.
Are we talking giant factories and machines?
Not necessarily. You'd be surprised how much tradition is still involved in olive oil production.
Okay.
Of course, there are modern facilities using, high-tech methods.
Yeah.
But many producers, especially in those Mediterranean regions where olive oil is so central to their culture,
Right.
still rely on techniques that have been passed down through generations.
That's
It's like they're honoring the history of olive oil
Yeah.
while creating this incredibly beneficial product.
So what are some of those traditional methods? Paint me a picture.
Okay, so imagine this large stone wheels
Sorry.
powered by hand or sometimes animals,
Wow.
slowly crushing the olives into a paste that's stone milling, one of the most traditional methods.
Oh, milling.
It's a slow and gentle process that helps preserve the olive's delicate flavors and aromas. You can almost taste the history in the oil produced this way.
It sounds so romantic,
I know, right?
like something out of a movie.
And then there's hydraulic pressing. This involves using a press traditionally powered by hand or water
Okay.
to extract the oil from that paste we just talked about.
Okay.
It's another method that focuses on gentle extraction to produce high-quality olive oil.
So those are kind of the old school methods.
Right.
What about the more modern techniques? Are they sacrificing quality for efficiency?
Not necessarily modern methods can still produce excellent olive oil, and sometimes they're even better at preserving those delicate nutrients.
Okay.
One common modern method is centrifugation. It involves spinning the olive paste at high speeds to separate the oil from the water and solids.
Spinning it like a salad spinner.
That's a great way to put it. It's a more efficient method than traditional pressing, and it's incredibly precise, so producers can really fine-tune the extraction process.
It's like taking those old traditions and then using technology
Exactly.
to really hone them in.
Yes, using cutting-edge technology to honor those ancient traditions.
What other modern techniques are there?
There's also continuous pressing, which is a more modern and efficient version of hydraulic pressing.
Okay.
It uses a continuous system to extract the oil, making it a faster process.
So olive oil production really has come a long way, but it seems like the goal is still the same
It is.
to get that high quality olive oil.
It's all about extracting that liquid gold while preserving its quality and all those wonderful benefits.
All right, so with all these different methods, how can I, as a consumer, know what I'm getting?
That's a great question, and it comes back to being an informed consumer, as we've talked about. Always look for extra virgin olive oil,
Okay.
as it's the highest quality and most nutritious option. Cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil is particularly desirable,
Okay.
as it's extracted at low temperatures without the use of chemicals or solvents.
So those are the key words to look for.
Exactly. Those are good indicators of quality, but don't stop there. Don't be afraid to read the label carefully
Okay.
and look for information about the olive variety, the growing region, and the production method. The more you know, the better choices you can make.
And what if I'm at a specialty store or a farmer's market?
That's a great opportunity to get to know your olive oil talk to the seller.
Okay.
Ask about the olive variety, the growing region, the harvest time, and the production method. You might be surprised by how passionate they are about their product
Oh, I bet.
and how much they're willing to share. You can learn so much just by having a conversation.
So it's about more than just buying a product.
It is.
It's about that connection.
It's about connecting with the people who make it and appreciating the art and science that goes into producing this amazing food.
And when you find that perfect olive oil,
Yes.
really savor it.
Savor it appreciates its unique flavor aroma and the craftsmanship that went into creating it. Drizzle it on your favorite dishes, share it with friends and family, and let it become part of your journey towards a healthier and more delicious life.
That's a great way to put it. I feel like my eyes have been opened to this whole world.
I'm glad.
It's more than just a healthy fat.
It's so much more.
It's a cultural treasure. It's a testament to all those people who've been making it for centuries.
It is, and it's a reminder that the simplest foods can often be the most powerful.
Well, thank you so much for taking us on this deep dive into the world of olive oil.
It's been my pleasure.
I feel like I've learned so much, and for our listeners out there, remember, the world of olive oil is vast and fascinating. Don't be afraid to explore, ask questions, and discover all that this ancient food has to offer.
Thank you for taking the time out to listen to our deep dive. Until next time, stay healthy and stay informed.